Hello and welcome to this Chessodoro game review. This was a 10-minute game. Student is around 2300 on Chess.com playing white, and black is actually a GM with 2650 online rating. So this is a very strong student. I would guess maybe his FIDE is around 2000, yeah, or over 2000. So game started e4, d6, Pert's defense. So white continued knight c3. This is a bit of a rare move, yeah. I personally like something like this. g6 and bishop f4. I like this, or bishop e3 you could play, yeah. I like this fast attack system where you go queen d2 and long castles. So another interesting, yeah, you could choose a calmer setup like with g3. Something like g3 here, yeah, many systems against Perk. Student, you chose knight c3, maybe intending, who knows, some Grand Prix setup, yeah. So actually black did transpose to Grand Prix, so not really Grand Prix yet, yeah, it's close Sicilian at the moment, but after f4 it's definitely Grand Prix attack. Here another interesting move student could check on his own is the so-called Carlsen or Gashimov Sicilian, yeah, plenty of sources on this one. I played it myself a couple times. Very interesting system. Idea is you move the queen to d2 and then you develop b3, bishop b2, long castles. Yeah, something like this. Is kind of anti dragon system, yeah, intending to challenge this bishop on g7 usually. So some ideas for opening, but f4 was played, and now black kind of played rare move a6. Usually they go for this kind of setup, yeah, like bishop c4, bishop g7, and then we go castle and so on. But they chose a6 with a quick b5 probably. So knight f3, b5, and now you went d4. I think excellent move. You're kind of playing now open Sicilian, you suddenly transpose, but with this f4 move included. Another choice sometimes I play online is I keep it the close Sicilian or King's Indian attack style. I go g3, bishop b7, now b4 is a bit of a threat, yeah, so maybe d3. And this knight sometimes retreats to e2, yeah, but here we can go actively put it on e3 maybe, and your next idea is you go for this kingside play, yeah, more later g4 and so on. So another option instead of d4 alternative, yeah. d4 he took, and you took with the queen. Very interesting position, I would say. And this kind of reminds me of another line. Let's get back a bit in the opening. This kind of reminded your play with d4 and queen d4 reminded I used to play against one strong player, and he always played like this with black, and then I went to d4 here, kind of he replaced the knight, and then you can go drop the queen f2 like you did in the game, or here queen d3 is also interesting. Okay, so let's get back to what happened. Queen d4 was played, knight c6, queen f2. Good spot for the queen, I think. Knight f6, and you just developed. I like it. e6, and now very strong move. You found e5, yeah. So not wasting any time, since we are probably castling long. Then this e5 break, we are also leading, yeah, in development a bit. Black was kind of slow with these side moves, yeah, with these pawns. So opening the position is a very good idea here. Sharp and powerful move, yeah. So another option could be a bishop d2, but it's weaker, yeah. Opponent could maybe grab this bishop and play with bishop pair, something like this, yeah. But black is okay here, no problem for black. But after e5, you gain initiative, yeah, and you kind of get responsibility to use this initiative. So he went immediately after the pawn. And you went bishop f4. You said bishop f4 engine says I don't need to defend this pawn. I don't get it. Well, I think it's kind of clear to me. Engine doesn't want to even defend it because you see you're far ahead in development. And for opponent to take this pawn, it would be super risky, yeah, opening the d and e files on him. So, for example, bishop e3 could be played, just ignoring this attack. And probably black better not take this pawn, bishop e7, because if they do, yeah, like take it, then you could maybe even castle long, yeah, but better maybe to save this bishop. And black is in deep trouble, yeah. You see how he has just 2 knights out. We already have d-line, yeah, coming play through the d-line. Also, we might just castle short at some moment, and we have f-file control. Basically, we're in the middle game already, while black hasn't developed yet fully. So very dangerous for black to take it immediately. Or he could not take it, yeah, maybe delay the taking to later. But then you castle long, for example. Even if after some play he takes it, yeah, still dangerous initiative for white, something like this. Yeah, these were kind of engine lines, but you see how easy your game flows. Yeah, you're basically doing tempo after tempo, super active pieces, something like this, compensation for sure. So bishop e3 was an interesting move, yeah. Instead you defended the pawn, which is also okay, yeah, no problem. I don't see a problem with this move as well, if you even if you had a chance, yeah, to sack it. Bishop b7 and long castle. And you say, I did not have a specific attacking plan after long castles. Thought that I had something along the d file. What would be the main plans going into the middle game? What would it be easier to play this position if I castle kingside? I think castling queenside is just fine. I like it more than castling short. Though castling short isn't bad move as well, but maybe black can actually exchange queens and get an equal position, something like this tactic. Very nice tactic, yeah, and they get equal position. This pawn might be weak a bit now, but you with a more active play, you get an equal position here, exchanging this active knight and so on. So castling short is not a bad idea, but according to the nature of the position, castling long I much more prefer myself, yeah, because basically you're not only castling, you're putting directly the rook on the d file, so you're doing 2 things, yeah, rook developing the rook as well. So and you get initiative through the d file, so I don't see, yeah, what's wrong about long castle. Yeah, and what would be your plan? Your plan basically, because you played e5, your plan is use the initiative and attack, yeah. That's your plan. This is not a positional game at the moment, yeah. It's all pure initiative, pure tactics happening, yeah, pieces moving actively. So you have to keep on the initiative rolling. So that's why castling long best move, I think. Queen a5, yeah, and you played king b1, okay. Kind of this move is always good prophylactics and when castling long, yeah. So now he went after the bishop, and I think here you made to my eyes a slight inaccuracy. A3, I don't think we need this move, yeah, there is no threat. Whether he captures the bishop, yeah, we might use this tempo instead of a3, play something more useful. So and by the way, a3 also creates a kind of hook, yeah, where he later used it. So a3, you're just creating a target for him, yeah. So I think maybe just proceed with your initiative, yeah. Try to attack. Okay, he'll exchange the bishop, but he wastes time, yeah, by doing it. And now if he goes after the pawn, let's say, we get super active play. All the pins here, yeah, rooks are coming. You see, a very useful move. We got out of any discovered checks, yeah. So you get very active piece play if he doesn't go queen c7, if he goes b4. But now you see he didn't have any target to bite on. You don't have any hooks, so you just can counter attack even, yeah. Ignore the knight attack, attack his knight, and so on. So very sharp play here. I'm not sure what's happening after knight c5 actually, so maybe you can do something here, and probably bishop e3, something like this, yeah, attack here, and I don't know, big mess here, yeah. But playing against grandmasters, they usually don't like such messes, yeah. They like to win it more boringly, yeah, with a solid play. So you had a perfect opportunity there, yeah, if you play actively. A3. A3, he took the bishop, but now he has this b4, yeah, very annoying move. And yeah, he kind of develops back with tempos, yeah, so you kind of, your development edge slowly disappeared, and you played queen d4. I think this is a bit too optimistic move, because it's just one move threat. Maybe you should take, yeah, agree that this was a bit of an inaccuracy, take the pawn, and after bishop b4, try not to exchange queens at all, like go after maybe the king somehow, yeah, queen g3. Let's say he goes g6, there are some crazy engine lines where, but I don't think any human would just allow this taking, yeah, something like this, and crazy stuff happening here. Rook takes, knight takes, yeah, all over the place. But I think playing against strong player, they would be scared, yeah, of such positions, because they're risking also very much. So okay, maybe g6 would be played by a human. So, but then you can redevelop the knight, for example. Yeah, if knight c5, we get tempo, and d6. If, for example, rook d8, you can double up, yeah, then bishop g5 is coming, and initiative is flowing, yeah, something like this. You might have to second exchange or something, yeah, all the mess is happening. But queen d4, just one move threat, he easily defended the knight. And now I think a very hard idea maybe to spot here, it's an engine move. You can maybe do this and then block, yeah, but very hard to spot in a rapid game. So AB you took, of course, and yeah, Grandmaster plays according to his he tries to kind of get positional play instead of you attacking, yeah, and try to slowly outplay you positionally. So he tries to exchange queens, of course. And you asked, should I trade the queen earlier? I think you shouldn't have traded the queens at all, yeah, since you had long castles and attack, yeah. You have to keep the queen as the most powerful attacking piece, so I wouldn't have traded queens at all, yeah, here. Unless forced, like in this position, he might trade already, yeah, because you don't want to waste any more time, yeah, by moving the queen. So rook b8, and now knight d6 he played. Maybe just doubling the rooks, for example, and b3 was another option to kind of later exchange the queens. Like something like this could happen. He has bishop pair, but maybe this pawn is a bit weaker. But still, you're controlling the position, should be around equal, I guess. You have to kind of exchange one pair of bishops here when fighting against bishop pair. So this would have been fine. Instead, you went knight d6 and kind of created this pawn. But it later became weak, yeah, because he managed to exchange queens. So excellent move by black f6. And now he went rook b3. I don't like this move. It's a bit dubious. Yeah, if you want to exchange queens, why not do it immediately? Like here, rook c3, maybe even attacking, yeah? You cannot retreat the bishop easily. And you get a more improved version, yeah, of what, and cannot take here, yeah, because you have super active play. You get more improved position than you had in the game. So something like this, yeah? And this pawn is still far from falling, yeah, like it happened in the game. So but rook b3, now he exchanged. You were kind of exchanging here, but now this pawn is weak. So bishop d5, excellent move, protecting. And rook e1, and you said after bishop b5, I know I'm worse and I'm going to lose at least one pawn. How to approach the game after losing the pawn? Should I try to play for opposite color bishop and endgame? So I would try, yeah, if I'm seeing I'm losing the pawn, I would try to get as much active play as possible with my remaining pieces, yeah, to get compensation. So, for example, instead of rook e1, maybe we need to go back with the knight somehow and use the d file, yeah, to maybe we'll lose the pawn, but we're still guarding it, yeah, and I'm trying to get to the pawn slowly by moving these pawns somehow closer, yeah. So for example, I cannot go now with this plan. Yeah, I want to go c4, but there is this rook c3 move, and I cannot. Yeah, he attacks easily this. So maybe we should go it more slowly. Yeah, try to exchange some pawns. Try to get at the most active you can. Yeah, when losing a pawn, that's the best way to have chances to make a draw when you're kind of down material. Yeah, at least one pawn. So instead you played rook e1. But already this e5, yeah, still some pins, but e5 is a bit hanging already. So king d7, now it's really hanging, and you kind of made the blunder, the only blunder in the game, but it was of course enough against grandmaster opponent, yeah, to win the game. I don't know what happened here. You kind of played g3, and you forgot maybe that the king has moved, yeah. My guess would be that you forget the king has moved, and now e5 just forks your two pieces, yeah. So, and even you cannot even sack it for two pawns, yeah, because this rook e8 comes. So instead of g3, let's not blunder, yeah. Maybe let's couple of ways to play, but maybe bishop d2, knight coming here. You see, okay, you sack this pawn, you regain that one. At least you have active pieces, yeah. They're always moving, always attacking something like this line, yeah. You keep on active play until you lose the pawn, but all your pieces are doing something, yeah. So that's how we fight when down on material. Try to keep the dynamics up, yeah. So g3, e5, yeah. But now it's we're losing a piece, yeah. So that was really bad. Okay, you had some sparkle of activity, but it just isn't enough, yeah. The king is just safe here, no problem, and he kicked out the knight. Consolidated slowly, yeah, got this pawn, and yeah, it's over, yeah. Here he's just a piece up, yeah. Defended everything, gave a check, final check, and this rook now is almost trapped, or he can just bring his rook here. So you kind of resigned. Okay, very interesting and fighting game against grandmaster, and we can learn a lot from this. So let's sum up the game. So opening was great for you. I think your opponent was a bit even confused and surprised with your d4 idea, queen f2 and e5. Yeah, very, very nicely played here. Especially I like this e5. Yeah, you gained the initiative, and you had to roll with it. And the second thing is, instead of defending this e5 pawn, yeah, very interesting idea we could all learn is just ignore it, yeah. Maybe knight is defending, but we ignore it, we keep on developing, let him take and open the lines on himself, yeah, because we're ahead in development, we're not worried too much about it. So that's usually an idea when you're leading in development. Third thing, a3 I think was a bit unnecessary move, yeah. We're kind of forcing him to take, but he's gonna take anyway, yeah. So why force him and create a hook on ourselves, yeah, when he later kind of exploited it. So fourth thing, when you were forced to exchange the queens, I think this rook b3 was dubious, yeah. We kind of wasted more time with this all exchanging, yeah. The more you exchange, the weaker this pawn gets. So I think you should have just kept the rook, yeah, and exchange maybe first and then go for active play. Okay, and yeah, the biggest mistake of course was at the end, low on time, of course, understandable. You blundered here, g3, kind of maybe forgot that the king was out of the pin already and missed this e5 idea, but that was just the only blunder, yeah. Others were like mistakes, but not game losing mistakes, yeah. This was a game losing mistake, I think. So this was the only blunder, but very well fought against grandmaster opponent. So I'm gonna create a plan for you, yeah. You're a very strong player already, but I'm gonna create, like we talked on messages, like improve your practical endgame skills and middle game pawn play, yeah. So I'll focus on those things and send you some resources, some ideas, yeah, how to improve your game. Thanks for watching, and see you around. Bye bye.